My name is Tang Bohu, and what a whirlwind it has been since I became the esteemed tutor. My wit, my charm, my sheer genius, they couldn't remain hidden forever, especially not with my impressive performance against those simple-minded young masters. Madam Hua, ever the astute one, finally decided to test me. She approached me with a seemingly innocent cup of raw tea, brimming with false compliments, clearly trying to coax a confession out of me. As if I, Tang Bohu, would fall for such a crude trick. I remained composed, enjoying the subtle dance of wits. But then she mentioned it. If you are indeed Tang Bohu, I will betroth Qiu Xiang to you. And just like that, the game changed. My carefully constructed facade crumbled. I admitted my true identity. No sooner had the words left my lips than the doors burst open and a swarm of figures stormed in. It all became clear. Madam Hua's inexplicable aversion to anything Tang Bohu stemmed from a bitter rivalry of old. She was an old suitor of my father, and my mother's sworn enemy. The animosity, it seemed, had passed down through the generations, directly onto my head. And that raw tea, poison, a cunning trap. But I am Tang Bohu. I feigned a counter-poison, a desperate bluff for an antidote. To my astonishment, Madam Hua didn't take the bait. So, with a swift, decisive move, I used my martial arts to force the antidote into her mouth. She, in her stubborn pride, would rather have us both perish than reveal the cure. What a woman! That night, a whisper of hope. Qiu Xiang, bless her courageous heart, crept into my room with stolen medicines. We spent hours talking, a beautiful, genuine connection blossoming between us, but none of the pilfered vials held the true antidote. Eventually, through Qiu Xiang's earnest intercession, Madam Hua and I reached an uneasy truce, though I remained a captive. Just when I thought the drama couldn't escalate further, Master Ning's most fearsome subordinate, the life-taking scholar, returned. He was no longer the mere shadow of a villain. He wielded a terrifyingly powerful martial art. He faced off against Madam Hua, and to my utter shock, he defeated her in mere moments. Qiu Xiang rushed to me, urging me to flee, to save myself. But abandon Qiu Xiang? Abandon the Hua family to that monster? Never! As Madam Hua faltered, I, armed with my trusty Overlord Spear, charged back into the fray. The battle that ensued was a spectacle to behold. Steel clashed, sparks flew, our forms spun and interwove, from the ground to the rooftops and back again. He was formidable, a true challenge. In a desperate moment, as I unleashed my famed back-thrust spear, he shattered the spearhead. Yet, even without the tip, I completed the move, for I had trained that technique to such perfection that it needed no physical spear to deliver its devastating power. With a final, crushing blow, I vanquished the life-taking scholar, saving the Hua household from its greatest threat. And as promised, Madam Hua finally consented to our union. But even then, the trials were not over. Before the wedding, Madam Hua presented one last absurd test. I had to identify Qiu Xiang from a dozen women, all dressed identically, their faces obscured. My blood boiled, I argued fiercely, but her resolve was unshakable. Rules were rules. I resorted to every esoteric martial arts trick, every discerning eye technique, but to no avail. Even after tearing off their initial head coverings, they wore masks beneath. And in the end, I chose the wrong one. It was all a cruel, elaborate joke. My heart nearly leapt out of my chest. After all that, it was just a prank. And Qiu Xiang, after clarifying the elaborate ruse, simply shrugged and sat down to a game of mahjong. Oh, the irony. My life, it seems, is destined to be a grand, theatrical comedy, even after finding true love.